Hello everyone, welcome back to Ruby Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting this channel. The moment you come across this video is precisely the right time for you to receive its message. On this channel, I always bring you insights and guidance about the things that are about to unfold in your life. When you open yourself up and place your trust in the positive, you are also connecting with a parallel world, one in which your desires and wishes have already manifested into reality. Today, through this reading, my intention is to help you unlock the possibilities that the future holds, to support you on your journey of embracing love and bringing your deepest wishes into being. The theme of today's reading is what you are about to realize clearly and unmistakably. I have drawn 3 cards, corresponding to Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Please take a moment to tune into your intuition, listen to your inner voice, and choose the pile that draws you the most. After that, you can click on the timestamp in the description box to go directly to your reading. Now, let us begin the session with those of you who have already made your choice. Hello to those of you who chose Pile 1. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. Now, I will begin the reading dedicated to everyone who is drawn to this first pile. My intention is that this reading will bring you healing, awaken fresh realizations within you, and offer you moments filled with love and tenderness. The theme we are exploring today is what you are about to realize clearly and unmistakably. To begin, let us look into your current situation. What immediately stands out and is truly striking is that every single card that has appeared here belongs to the major arcana. We have the Hierophant, the Star, and the Wheel of Fortune. Seeing these cards together, the energy is very powerful, and I sense strongly that you are in a phase of waiting for something significant, as though you are watching for a destined moment or anticipating the arrival of a turning point. It feels as though you are carefully aligning yourself with a particular time frame, an event, or a milestone. You are not simply waiting passively, but actively preparing, fine-tuning yourself to be in harmony with that moment when it arrives. It could be that you are carefully choosing the right time to start something new or to bring something important to completion. For instance, let us say there is a crucial exam on the horizon. You would not just sit still and wait, but rather you would devote yourself to study, to training, to honing your skills, so that when that day comes you are fully ready to achieve the result you desire. And even though I use the example of an exam, the deeper essence of what is unfolding here is far greater. It is about a dream, a vision, a long-cherished goal you have been holding within your heart for quite some time. The feeling is very strong that you are wholeheartedly pouring yourself into something big that is approaching. You are in a state of preparation, gathering and consolidating all of your energy for that defining moment ahead. You know exactly what you want to achieve, what abilities you need to refine, how far you wish to grow, and how much experience you want to accumulate before entering that decisive stage. There is nothing vague or uncertain here. Instead, your vision is sharp, clear, and unwavering. In your mind, the path is already shaped, and you are walking steadily and purposefully toward it. As I mentioned earlier, the dominant image is of you waiting for the right timing, standing before a threshold where precise alignment with the moment matters most. For some of you, it could even be that this destined point is arriving earlier than originally expected. Instead of unfolding according to the schedule you had in mind, circumstances may be accelerating, pressing the timing closer and calling on you to make swift decisions or to complete your preparations sooner than you had initially planned. For those in this situation, the pressure of time may be intensifying, urging you to finalize choices or finish what you need to do ahead of schedule. Now, let us go deeper to uncover the more specific details of your current state. I sense very clearly here that the message coming through is about something you are longing to receive. And this something does not necessarily have to be a tangible possession or a material object. It could very well be an expression of gratitude, a heartfelt thank you, or an authentic, sincere feeling coming from someone toward you. I see that you are opening your heart to welcome emotions, intentions, and genuine sentiments that flow from others. And when I look at cards such as the High Priestess and Strength, I recognize that this may be connected to something you have been steadfastly devoted to, or a pursuit you have worked on with consistent effort for quite a long time. It speaks of a process that has required endurance, a journey where you have poured in significant energy, dedication, and patience, and now is the moment when the fruits of that effort begin to appear. This harvest is not limited to you alone. It may also extend to those who have been connected to you or who have walked alongside you in that process. If you are someone who has been in a role of guiding, teaching, or transmitting knowledge or wisdom to others, then this may be the time when you witness visible outcomes, when you see clear accomplishments emerging from what you have nurtured and invested in. I also sense that for some of you, right now you are surrounded by a state of inner calm and stability. With the appearance of the Queen of Cups alongside the Ace of Cups, I can distinctly feel the energy of fulfillment, of contentment, and of emotions overflowing with positivity. This combination reflects a profound sense of satisfaction in some aspect of your life. It could be in matters of love, in your relationships, or within your own inner being. It is the sensation of being nurtured, of being cared for, and of being cherished. There is a richness of emotion here, a sense of wholeness that radiates from within and outward, allowing you to both give and receive love in its purest form. When I drew additional cards from the Oracle deck, another layer of message unfolded before me. You are gradually being released from a sense of tension that once weighed heavily on you. In the past, you may have often found yourself in states of worry, nervousness, or pressure, perhaps because you had to step forward and present yourself, speak your mind, appear in front of many people, or take part in an important event that demanded courage and composure. Yet now, as revealed through the 2 oracle cards placed here, I can clearly sense that some of you have begun to loosen that tight grip within yourselves. You are no longer bound by the rigidity that once held you back, and your mind feels noticeably lighter, freer, and more at ease than before. Now, let us shift into observing the energies surrounding you. In this section, the Strength card has appeared once again. Its repetition tells me that this energy is not only alive within you, but is also reflected and echoed in your external environment. As I look deeper into this, I see very clearly that at present, you are engaged in a connection or interaction with someone significant in your life. What I perceive here is that, for instance, in a work environment, you may be playing the role of a guide, a mentor, someone who gently leads, supports, and trains those who are newer or under your care. Alternatively, it could also be that you are extending your compassion, empathy, and nurturing energy to heal someone who has been hurt or broken in some way. The imagery that comes forth is of someone within your surroundings, a person with whom you have once shared your care, attention, and companionship, who is now slowly recovering, gradually rising again after a long and difficult period. And what strikes me very strongly is that this healing process carries a profound imprint of your presence. You have played an incredibly important role in this transformation. It is through your being there, through the way you have offered your support, your kindness, and your genuine heart, that this person has been able to rediscover their strength and to finally begin to see once more the light of hope ahead of them. This person, to you, is not a stranger at all, but someone you have carried deep concern for, someone about whom you have asked yourself again and again, will they be all right? Will things eventually get better for them? And yet, it is precisely because of your care, your protection, and your support that this individual is now finding a way to rise again, making the effort to move forward, and beginning to believe once more in a brighter future. This image that comes through is one that fills me with warmth as I lay out the cards for you, because it reflects so beautifully the power of your presence and the healing energy you have shared. As I delved deeper into observing the situation around you, the cards that appeared were the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. The energy here speaks of a sigh of relief, as though you or those involved can finally breathe out and say, at last, things are good. It seems that there was once a period of time where you were consumed with worry, with restless thoughts and heartfelt concern for this person or for a particular situation. But now, as you look around, you can sense clearly that things have begun to stabilize, that balance has been found. Within your surroundings at this moment, the energy of reassurance, contentment, and the deep sense of being fortunate is flowing steadily. I also feel strongly that reaching this point has not been easy. It has been the result of a long process of effort, perseverance, and resilience. And it was never the effort of just one side. Rather, it was the mutual companionship, the shared encouragement, the willingness to push through hardships together that created this outcome. This unwavering dedication, this persistence, has borne fruit, and that is why the Nine of Cups, the card of wishes fulfilled, of satisfaction, of emotional and spiritual contentment, has revealed itself in this reading. It shows that what you have sincerely nurtured, what you have invested your time, your energy, and your heart into with such seriousness, has now truly blossomed into tangible results. The appearance of the Ace of Pentacles emphasizes this message even more. It signifies a new beginning, yet not one that arises from nothing, but rather a beginning that is rooted firmly in the solid results already achieved. A tangible and stable foundation that has been built through effort and persistence. This card speaks of the manifestation of something real, concrete, and lasting. At the same time, through the energy of the Four of Pentacles, I sense that you are entering a stage where you can finally exhale, where you can allow yourself to gently release your grip and let things flow naturally out of your hands. There is no longer the need to hold on so tightly as before, because deep inside you already know that the ground has been secured, the seeds have been planted, and now it is time to let them grow and evolve in their own rhythm, following the current of life. The image that arises here is of you once believing that you would need to continue guiding, teaching, or supervising this person for a very long time to come. There may even have been moments when you wondered silently within yourself, will I always need to be by their side, continually leading and instructing them like this? Yet, unexpectedly, the situation shifted in a way that surprised you. It seems that a moment has now arrived when you can clearly see that this person has truly matured, has grown stronger, and has reached a point where they can shoulder responsibilities on their own and move forward independently. You can perceive the transformation within them, the genuine growth that has taken place, and you recognize that they are no longer the same individual who once needed you to guide each and every step. Instead, they have stepped into their own strength, their own capability, and this realization allows you to both admire their progress and release yourself from the sense of having to constantly hold them up. When I drew additional cards from the Oracle deck for further illumination, the energy revealed here speaks of a calming down, a soothing presence, and an atmosphere of stability and relief now enveloping you. In the past, there may have been much turmoil, entanglement, and overlapping issues that created pressure and weighed heavily upon you. Yet now, this spread indicates that much of that chaos has either been resolved or, at the very least, a clear path toward resolution has been found. What stands out even more is the signal that someone has appeared, almost like an ally, a supporter, or someone standing firmly on your side, or perhaps you have only just recently come to recognize their presence. This is a person whose existence brings a sense of comfort and warmth to your heart, like a ray of light breaking through after long days of gloom. Their energy brings you relief from the burdens that once pressed upon you, offering you serenity, a brighter outlook, and a gentler flow in your connections with others and with your environment. Moving forward, I now turn to look into the things you are still pondering over at this present moment. The three cards that emerge here are the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Six of Swords. Their combined energy reveals clearly that within you there still lingers a quiet anxiety, a concern that has not entirely dissolved. A part of you continues to question inwardly, am I truly capable of doing this well enough? Will everything be all right if I am not directly there to oversee it? Can others manage, sustain, and handle things on their own in the absence of my constant presence? These questions echo like a gentle undercurrent within you, reflecting the depth of your care and your sense of responsibility, yet at the same time also pointing toward the growth process of learning to trust, to release, and to witness how things can unfold even when you are not the one holding everything together with your own hands. In addition, there is another aspect I sense here, and please take with you only the part that truly resonates. You may be considering whether to expand or increase something in your life, such as taking on more work, additional responsibilities, or embracing new opportunities, yet at the same time you hesitate, unsure if this expansion would truly be beneficial. On the other hand, there is also the possibility that you are questioning whether it might be wiser to cut back, to withdraw from, or to bring to an end a certain part of your work, your commitments, or even a relationship. Alongside this comes a deep hesitation. Should I say it out loud or should I remain silent? Should I stop or should I keep going? Should I let go or should I continue to hold on? And this is especially difficult because you have already invested so much of your energy, your time, and your heart into building what exists up to this point. I can feel so clearly here the energy of hesitation, of being torn between the desire to continue holding on and the fear of regret if you were to release it, while simultaneously recognizing within yourself that change is something inevitable. So, I decided to draw a few more cards to look deeper into this matter. And just as the initial impression suggested, I see with great clarity that what stands here before you is a profound inner dilemma centered around the questions of to do or not to do, to continue or to stop, to step forward or to stay where you are. This is not just an ordinary decision. It feels like a significant crossroads, one that requires you to face the weight of choosing between letting go or holding on. And then, the Death card emerged, a sign both striking and unmistakable, showing that the central theme here is one of endings, of release, of transformation in its truest sense. This card echoes what I mentioned earlier. Are you ready to stop, to release, to let go of something, or are you still determined to hold on tightly? The presence of this card makes the message clear that a transition, a profound shift, is at hand, and it is calling you to confront this truth directly. It does not stop simply at the choice of whether to act or not act. The energy of this reading also reveals another layer of uncertainty. Do I truly have the ability to carry this out? Am I capable enough to handle this? This question is not directed only toward yourself, but is also being reflected outward, projected onto another person as well. You find yourself asking whether someone else has the capacity, the strength, or the determination to see something through to completion. And the deeper root of this uncertainty is revealed when the Moon card appears, a symbol of ambiguity, of things veiled in mist, of unclear truths that cannot yet be fully seen. The Moon speaks of shadows and illusions, of moments when clarity is obscured and certainty slips just beyond your grasp. Perhaps it is the distance, whether physical distance across space, the distance of time that separates you, or even the emotional and mental distance in understanding. That makes it difficult for you to truly see the full picture of the situation or the essence of this person. It is precisely this lack of clarity, this misty veil, that causes your emotions to sway back and forth. At times you lean toward one side, convinced of one perspective, and then suddenly you shift toward the opposite, filled with doubt once again. This wavering, this inner oscillation, leaves your mind unsettled, pulled between possibilities and unable to rest in certainty. The Moon reminds us that in such times, confusion itself becomes the teacher, and the unease is born not from weakness, but from the fact that the truth has not yet fully revealed itself. I continued drawing from the oracle deck, and the two cards that emerged carried a message that was unmistakably clear. At the root of all this hesitation, all this indecision, lies fear. And this fear wears many different faces. It may be the fear that you are not capable enough, the fear that someone else may not be capable enough, the fear that if you move forward things will not turn out as you hope, or the fear that if you wait too long the opportunity will slip away. It could manifest as questions like, should I go or should I stay? Should I say yes or should I refuse? Will that person come or will they not? Should I begin or should I stop right here? At a deeper level, this is the fear of failure itself, the fear of unfavorable outcomes, the fear of worst-case scenarios playing out. You may find yourself imagining potential difficulties ahead, picturing what could go wrong, focusing on the shadows of possibility rather than opening your heart to the light of success and what could unfold beautifully. The message flowing from these oracle cards is this: the great theme within this struggle is about overcoming fear. I see very clearly here that instead of letting fear take the reins and dictate your choices, what is needed is the voice of encouragement, whether it is a message you whisper to yourself or a message you share with another person. Words such as "you can do this," "everything will be all right." If this is about you, then call back into your memory the times in the past when you triumphed, when you overcame challenges that once felt impossible. Let those memories of success, of resilience, remind you of your strength. Instead of being consumed by the vision of failure, allow the recollection of all that you have accomplished to be the fuel that drives you forward. This is the central message that these two oracle cards are offering you now, like a gentle yet firm reminder that once faith and trust return, once belief is reclaimed, the clarity you seek will come and the answer to your decision will reveal itself. Next, let us look into what you are about to realize with striking clarity. The cards that have appeared are the Four of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Hanged Man. When I gaze upon these three together, the message that comes forth is unmistakable. You're about to recognize that in the past there was already a sign, a clue, some kind of subtle indication, but at that time you did not truly grasp its full meaning. And then suddenly, in this moment, the realization dawns upon you. You will find yourself saying, so that was what it meant back then. Now I see clearly that what I once thought was actually true. This understanding will present itself to you vividly, in a way that is no longer veiled, no longer shrouded in ambiguity as it once was. These cards are also revealing that there is a truth, or perhaps a hidden aspect of a situation, that has until now remained obscured from your sight, but is soon to be revealed. When this truth comes to light, you will come to understand that you were right to refrain from acting, right to have stopped, or right to have chosen not to move forward on a certain path. There is a strong sense of awakening here, of looking back and realizing, it is fortunate that I did not go down that road. It is fortunate that I did not choose that option. It is fortunate that I did not immerse myself deeper into that matter. What once felt uncertain will now become clear, and this clarity will affirm the wisdom of the restraint and choices you made. This becomes even clearer when we see that in the earlier spread, the Queen of Pentacles appeared, and now, in this position, the corresponding card that has shown itself is the King of Pentacles. This connection highlights the message that you will come to realize. Not changing your method, not abandoning your way of doing things, or continuing to hold firm in the belief and dedication you have maintained all along has been a wise decision. You will understand deeply that you are right to keep going, to keep sustaining your effort up until this very point. The presence of the Five of Swords here also reinforces this, emphasizing that you did not have to act insincerely or unfairly toward anyone, and the fact that you avoided that path is itself a significant victory. You were able to maintain integrity, to uphold honesty, and in doing so you preserved not only your dignity, but also the true alignment of your path. In summary, the most prominent answer revealed here is this: continuing to do what you have been doing is indeed the right choice. And when the hidden truth finally comes to light, you will realize that the decision you made in the past, whether it was to act or not to act, has guided you away from roads that were not meant for you. You will come to see clearly, with no doubt remaining, that so that person truly is that kind of person, or how fortunate it was that I did not step into that environment, that I did not choose that path. Everything will crystallize with such undeniable clarity that you will no longer carry even the faintest shadow of uncertainty. Now I will draw an additional card to accompany the moon, to cast deeper light upon what still remains hidden. As I look into these two cards together, the message becomes very clear. The path you are meant to walk, the goal you are striving toward, or even the person you are destined to choose, all of it will gradually come into focus before your eyes. You will come to realize with certainty that not making a certain choice in the past, not continuing down that old direction, and stopping at that moment were all the right decisions. It is precisely because you released what no longer served you that a new door, a fresh choice, is now opening before you. And in this present moment, the road ahead of you is shaping itself with more clarity than ever before. Then I drew 3 more cards to accompany the Empress, the Two of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Phoenix. And when I pulled 1 more card to further illuminate the Phoenix, the Lovers appeared. This combination carries with it an energy that is deeply moving, almost indescribably special. It evokes the image of a return, a coming back into balance, into a state of peace and harmony, or perhaps a return to something in its original form, but now tempered, refined, and made stronger through experience. It may also speak of reconciliation, of a healing process, of rediscovering connection and reestablishing stability within a relationship. There is a sense of renewal here, a rebirth infused with both tenderness and strength, pointing toward bonds that are being restored, choices that are aligned with the heart, and a future that holds the promise of harmony and wholeness. From the perspective of love and emotions, what is emerging here is the energy of both people mutually affirming the feelings they hold for each other. This is the moment where 2 hearts find one another again, reconnecting on a deeper level of understanding, and this brings you a sense of relief, serenity, and even a profound emotional stirring within. I see an image of you quietly thinking to yourself, I never expected to be valued this much. I never imagined I could be cherished to such an extent. This is that sacred moment when the love and tenderness you are receiving become undeniable, vivid, and absolutely real in their presence. Yet, the appearance of the Five of Swords carries with it the energy of defensiveness and doubt, suggesting that on another layer, you may still be carrying a certain difficulty in fully trusting someone. Perhaps a part of you still holds onto a quiet hesitation, a protective guard shaped by the wounds of the past. And here, there are 2 possible paths unfolding. If you feel this resonates with your situation, the healing may take place in one of 2 ways. Either you overcome that pain while walking alongside someone new, or you transcend it together with the very person who once caused you harm. The Phoenix card here, to me, often carries the profound meaning of forgiveness, of 2 people forgiving each other, of speaking the words, I'm sorry, and allowing reconciliation to take root. Immediately after, the Lover's card appears, and it shines as a confirmation of this healing, a sign of reunion, of a bond being renewed, or of a conscious choice to move forward together once again. This is not merely about erasing the past or pretending that the wounds never existed, but rather about rebuilding a connection on the foundation of understanding, compassion, and acceptance. On another layer of meaning, it also brings forth the message that you do not have to settle, you do not have to compromise or accept less than what your heart truly deserves. This is a connection born of free will, nurtured by genuine affection, not out of pressure, obligation, or fear of losing someone. I see here a very clear message unfolding. You will come to realize that you no longer need to endure or to compromise yourself simply to keep the peace or to maintain a fragile balance. This realization is strengthened by the presence of the King of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, cards that resonate with energies of stability, enduring value, and all that has been cultivated, tended to, and preserved with care over time. They serve as a reminder that what is truly yours, what has been established through effort and devotion, or the relationship and foundation you have diligently guarded, will once again be emphasized, illuminating for you the truth that this is precisely what holds the greatest worth, the essence most deserving of your gratitude and recognition. For some of you, this may lead to the conclusion that, in the end, this is truly the place where you belong, that it is precisely this environment that allows you to feel the most at ease, the most at peace within yourself. It may also be the moment when you realize that you genuinely want to continue with something, that you are not ready, and do not wish to let it go. From another perspective, this could be that quiet yet powerful turning point where you say to yourself, I will try to trust again, or that no longer holds any meaning for me. I will place my faith entirely in what stands before me now, in what I know to be steady, loving, and truly in need of me. This is the conscious choice to return to what brings you a sense of safety, of sanctuary, of something profoundly precious and irreplaceable. The energy here is pure and transparent. There is no deception, no betrayal, and no sacrifice of yourself to the point of exhaustion. Instead, what emerges is an open, honest connection, a state of being you have long yearned for, a relationship or an environment in which you are allowed to be wholly yourself, to be seen, respected, and reciprocated. This can manifest in many different forms. For some, it speaks of romantic love. For others, it may be in the realm of work or a partnership built upon trust and mutual support. Regardless of the context, the reading emphasizes with clarity that you will come to know what is truly worth continuing, what is truly aligned with your heart's truth. As I gaze at the entirety of the 5 cards laid out before me, I feel an unmistakably powerful current of emotional energy flowing through them. It carries the breath of profound connection, of love that is built upon trust, mutual respect, and genuine recognition. This is not a fleeting or superficial sensation, not something momentary that flickers and fades, but rather a deep and enduring bond. And you will know, in the quietest certainty of your own heart, that this connection, this relationship, this choice is indeed what is meant for you, the place and the love where your spirit is truly called to rest. I see here a very vivid image. The things you once considered distant, unreachable, or perhaps only dared to dream of from afar are now drawing closer, becoming tangible, something you can finally touch and hold. The appearance of the Moon card, in combination with the 2 of Wands and the Page of Cups, speaks of the shift. It shows that what you once admired from a distance, what you once longed for with a gaze filled with yearning, is now right within your reach. From the perspective of love and relationships, this feels like the story of someone who once believed their feelings were one-sided, that the connection existed only within the realm of solitary emotion. Yet what unfolds here is the realization that the truth is entirely different. This love is not one-directional at all, but rather reciprocated. The other person, too, carries genuine affection, sincere interest, and heartfelt care for you. And more than that, the spread reveals the potential of something profound, a relationship that is not fleeting, but one that carries the possibility of deep commitment, of seriousness, of stability. It even suggests the potential of marriage, remarriage, or the creation of a lasting bond where the future is envisioned with clarity and deliberate intention. When viewed through the lens of work or personal goals, this message transforms into something equally powerful. Perhaps there was a time when you believed that the dreams you held were far too distant, that you lacked the skills, the readiness, or the resources to ever attain them. But now, the energy of this reading illuminates a different truth, that opportunity is moving toward you, or that you are awakening to the recognition that this is a role, a path, an environment, or a mission that perfectly aligns with who you are. You begin to see with clarity, this is exactly what I have been searching for all along. This is the kind of person, the kind of opportunity, the kind of environment that resonates with my heart's calling. And what is most essential here is that all of this does not come in the form of a one-sided relationship or a hollow opportunity. Instead, it arrives with response, with mutual recognition, with balance, and with the harmony of a genuine exchange, something that embraces you as much as you embrace it. When I drew additional cards from the Oracle deck, the Moon appeared once again, this time accompanied by 3 cards in total that carry the energy of deeper illumination and introspection. Among them, the card of sign language, a symbol of communication and connection, revealed itself specifically for you, and this immediately drew me back to the message that had already emerged when the Death card was interpreted earlier. You are gradually coming into the clarity of discerning what is truly essential for you and what no longer aligns with your journey. There will be things that you recognize with conviction, saying to yourself, I truly need to hold on to this because it matters deeply to me. And there will also be other things that you will candidly admit, this no longer serves my path. It no longer has a place in the life I am moving toward. This is the very moment of awakening into clarity, when all boundaries, all values, and all the true desires of your heart are drawn with unmistakable precision, so you no longer have to linger in confusion or stand wavering between half-hearted choices. What emerges here is not only the realization of what you no longer need. Once you come to understand what no longer fits, you also awaken to the vivid recognition of what is truly necessary, what deserves to be held close, because it holds profound meaning for your soul. I feel strongly that what this points to is not necessarily something brand new entering your life, but rather something that has always been there, something that has quietly existed alongside you all along. It could be a person who has never left your side, a relationship you already have, or a value, a source of strength, or a resource that has long been part of your world. This is not the story of encountering someone entirely unfamiliar and starting over from the very beginning, but rather of realizing that in the past, something else had obscured your vision, preventing you from seeing the truth clearly. And now, as you finally recognize what is unnecessary, as you see with certainty that it no longer resonates with your current energy, you will make the choice to let go, to release, and in that very act of release, another truth, deeper, more authentic, will open itself before your eyes. This moment will allow you to realize just how deeply you have been cherished, how much importance has been placed upon you, how profoundly you have been loved and needed. The Moon card here affirms that you will begin to clearly see the very things you have long yearned to witness, that you will come to know with certainty the truths you have always desired to uncover. And it is not only about knowing. What stands out even more is your readiness now to embrace it, to welcome it, to accept it fully into your heart. Beyond that, the message emphasizes that you will no longer choose to be the one who endlessly sacrifices yourself in a certain situation. You will define with clarity what it is that you must never let slip through your fingers, what it is that you cannot and must not relinquish. As I mentioned earlier, there are things that deserve to be spoken aloud, yet at the same time, there will also be things you must absolutely keep close to your heart, guarding them within yourself. This is the moment that brings you that clarity, knowing what should be said, what should remain unsaid, and what must be preserved within. Another fascinating insight I feel flowing from the energy of these cards, though it may not be directly tied to the traditional meaning of this particular card, is the recognition that certain things you once believed were far beyond your reach, too distant, or unattainable, are in truth much closer than you imagined. It could be something that has always been near you, perhaps even right before your eyes, or it may be an opportunity you assumed would take great time and effort to achieve, yet it now approaches with unexpected swiftness, smoothness, and ease. I will close the reading for those of you drawn to pile 1 here. Thank you for journeying with me through this message. Your encouragement is the source of inspiration that allows me to continue bringing new insights forward. If something in this reading touched your heart, may you feel free to leave a comment or even a small symbol to let me know that the message has reached you. I always look forward to your words, so never hesitate to share your thoughts. With gratitude for your presence until the very end of this reading, I look forward to meeting you again in the next one. Hello to those of you who have chosen pile 2. Thank you for waiting, and now I will begin the reading for those who felt drawn to the second pile. May this reading bring you healing, new realizations, and moments filled with love and warmth. The theme here is what you are about to recognize with clarity. First, let us look at your current state. The 3 cards that have appeared are the 3 of Wands, the Star, and the Knight of Swords. When I gaze upon these 3 cards together, I feel very strongly a current of energy that is urging you to move forward more quickly, to step into a new place, a new journey, or to reach toward a new goal with determination. It could be that you are sensing the desire to leave behind your present situation or environment, or perhaps you are nurturing the ambition to rise to a higher level, to upgrade yourself, to secure a more elevated position. Whatever the circumstance may be, what stands out clearly here is a powerful spirit of progress, a thirst to move toward the next step with a positive outlook and a proactive mindset. The next set of cards that has revealed itself are the 3 of Swords, the 9 of Cups, and the Fool. When all 6 of these cards are considered together, what I see is that some of you may currently be in a state of waiting for an important announcement or a significant result. And it is precisely this result that will serve as the pivotal factor in guiding you toward your next step. The appearance of the Three of Swords suggests that you have already passed through a period that was by no means easy, perhaps a time of emotional pain, of mental exhaustion, or of being placed under prolonged strain and tension. This may have been a moment in which you felt deeply burdened, heavily repressed, or forced to endure far more than you should have had to bear. Yet now, I sense that it is only a matter of time, just a little longer, and this phase will come to an end. You will be able to step out from that heaviness and into a new chapter. For some of you, this may coincide with a time of taking leave, a pause for recovery, or the beginnings of a true opportunity to finally move toward the destination you have been longing for. The Fool emerges here as a powerful signal of beginnings, as though you have just come through a difficult cycle, and now you are liberated, ready to step into an entirely new journey. Everything in this spread points to the truth that the heavy struggles of the past are gradually closing, and before you now, a new path is opening wide. And there is something I want to emphasize that is truly remarkable. In this reading, the Nine of Cups, the Wish card, appears together with the Star. This is an extraordinary combination, carrying the sense that your dreams are not only becoming clearer, but are also stepping into the realm of possibility, taking shape as something that can genuinely manifest. This pairing fills the entire spread with brilliance, with radiant hope, with the unmistakable glow of destiny unfolding. I sense that this is the time when something that once seemed impossible finally becomes attainable, when the door that has been closed for so long begins to creak open. To delve deeper, I drew 2 additional cards from the Oracle deck. Looking at these 2 cards, what becomes apparent is the closing of a foundational process, the ending of a phase in which groundwork had to be laid. And now the message is clear. It is time to move into the next stage. That groundwork, what I feel from it, was a chapter marked by immense difficulty, relentless challenges, and the draining of much of your strength and patience. It was a period that demanded you focus on fortifying, on building a base strong enough to carry you forward. And it is precisely because of that hard-earned foundation that now, at this moment, you can begin to paint the vision you have long held in your heart, to live and act with a freedom you may not have known before. This freedom may come through the way you now choose to use your time with greater intention, or through the release that comes from finally breaking free of a binding situation. For some of you, this may be an especially clear personal story. Perhaps you once entered into marriage, then went through divorce, and now you find yourself with more time, more space to live for yourself, to do the things you love. And because the journey you endured before was so demanding, so exhausting, from this point onward I see you beginning to realize the very dreams you have carried for so long, whether they are simple, everyday desires or vast, ambitious goals. The energy here shines with transformation, with renewal, with the unmistakable sense of a turning point where you can finally reach out and touch the very things your soul has yearned for. Next, I will look into the circumstances surrounding you at this present moment. As I lay out the cards, what stands out immediately is the image of you as someone upon whom many expectations are placed by those around you. 3 major arcana appear in succession: Strength, the World, and the Empress, and all of them together signal that you are seen as occupying a position of great capability, someone others believe can shoulder responsibilities, carry burdens, and accomplish whatever is entrusted to you. The energy here is very much like, if it's you, then we can rest assured the task will be done. Yet when I asked the question of whether this is truly something beneficial for you, the 3 of Swords emerged, and that drew my attention with particular intensity. This suggests that you may be in an environment or situation where your competence, your sense of responsibility, your ability to deliver is taken as a given, assumed as something automatic. Others may simply think, you're skilled, so naturally you will succeed. You are capable, so of course you can handle it. Without even realizing it, they lean on you. They depend upon you, without pause to consider how heavy that weight may feel upon your shoulders. This both reflects the truth of your remarkable strength and ability, and at the same time reveals a deeper pattern. You have grown accustomed to placing others before yourself, to prioritizing the needs and interests of those around you, particularly those closest to you, over your own well-being. I also sense that you may be within a closed or confined environment, one in which the relationships and expectations of others have formed an invisible web, a binding circle of obligations and assumptions that has, in some way, restricted you, making it difficult to step freely outside of it. The spread speaks not only of your power, but of the quiet burden that power has placed upon your spirit. What I see here is like a painting of you having been within quite a closed environment, a space where the people you interact with, connect with, or even grow close to are all revolving within the same circle, not changing much over time. It feels as though you have lived and worked among these familiar individuals for a long period, and this very consistency has created a fixed backdrop, a context with little fluctuation or movement. I cannot say for certain how you yourself are perceiving that situation, or how you truly feel when you observe those around you, but when I read the energy flowing through these cards, what comes through clearly is that you have been, and still are, the person others place their trust in, the one they rely upon, and someone they feel is necessary in their lives. At times, on a deeper level, I even sense that you are a figure who is admired, someone others quietly look up to, and yet, intertwined with that admiration, there may also be traces of envy, because there are qualities within you, aspects of your being, or blessings in your life that they long for but cannot attain for themselves. This is the powerful impression that the energy of the spread conveys. You stand as both a pillar and a mirror in your environment, a person who provides stability and reliability, and at the same time someone who evokes in others a blend of respect, desire, and longing because they see in you something that they wish but do not possess. Next, I draw 3 more cards to gain deeper insight: the Page of Cups, the Hanged Man, and the Lovers. These 3 cards open up more layers in the perspective you hold. Earlier, I mentioned that it wasn't entirely clear how you truly view what is happening around you, but with these cards, I see an image of you as someone who is admired, trusted, and looked up to, while at the same time within yourself. You also carry admiration or longing for others. When you look at the people around you, you might notice that they embody a kind of freedom, a lightness, or an expansiveness that you yourself yearn for. Or perhaps you long for more experiences that make your heart race, that bring you the thrill, excitement, and freshness you sense in others, and you find yourself wishing you could hold that as well. The Lovers appearing here carries yet another meaning, that at present, you may already be in a romantic relationship, or you have someone close beside you as a companion. However, in this position of the spread, since I am examining it through the lens of what needs your awareness, I feel that within you, there are thoughts, uncertainties, or even aspects where you don't feel fully satisfied in this relationship. It doesn't necessarily point to something negative, but it does reveal that there are elements you wish could shift, areas where you hope for more, or desires that remain unmet. This subtle pull between contentment and longing is shaping your inner reflections right now. Moreover, if we look from another angle, the Lover's card here, together with the 2 cards that appeared before it, also reminds me of the personal abilities and strengths that I mentioned earlier. This could very well be a sign that your gift for connection, your ability to build and sustain important relationships, is one of your significant strengths. Something that not only allows others to place their trust in you, but also makes you a figure that people admire and respect. I sense that in your current environment, you may have already given your all, pouring every ounce of effort and every part of your capability into fulfilling your role. It even feels as though you might have reached the point where there is nothing more left to give, or perhaps you feel you have already stretched yourself to the very limits of what you can express within this particular framework. For those of you who feel this resonates, the Page of Cups appears here as a signal that deep within your heart, there is a longing for something new, a fresh source of inspiration, something that makes your heart stir again, something that brings back excitement, anticipation, and a sense of renewal. This could come from opening yourself to new encounters, meeting people who bring fresh perspectives, or stepping into a relationship or connection that is entirely different from what you have experienced before. Visually, these cards look truly beautiful, carrying an image that is hopeful and promising. Yet, when I delve deeper into the energy beneath them, I sense a current of restraint, of limitation, and even of pressure that feels imposed upon you. This is not something you consciously create or inflict on others, but rather something that seems to be pressing down upon you from the environment itself, from the relationships you are entangled in, from the circumstances surrounding you at this moment. That undercurrent of restriction is what continues to shape the experience you are moving through, making the search for freedom, inspiration, and renewal all the more vital for your heart and soul. Next, I draw from the Oracle deck and receive 2 cards, Opposition and Community/Belonging. Immediately, this gives me the sense that you are situated within a collective, a community, or an environment that is structured around rules, principles, or a system of strict regulations. Within you, however, there is an emerging desire to resist, to push back against these constraints, to break free from the rigidity that surrounds you. It feels as though between your personal viewpoints, your feelings, your values, and the standards or expectations imposed by this current environment, there exists a sharp contrast, even a clash. This tension is leading many of you who chose this pile to feel that you no longer wish to fully immerse yourself in conforming to the demands or the habitual ways of those around you. You do not want to blend in simply for the sake of pleasing everyone else. Of course, there are still some of you who, for the time being, choose to continue adjusting yourselves, striving to maintain outward harmony so that nothing appears disrupted on the surface. Yet the energy reflected here suggests that, even in doing so, the price you pay is heavy. It shows that you are sacrificing a great deal, sometimes even suppressing your own needs, desires, and authentic self in order to keep things looking smooth and stable. This compromises your inner balance and takes away from your sense of freedom. Such dynamics easily lead to over-accommodating the demands or expectations of others, pulling you into a cycle where you feel you must always perform well, always meet the mark, always show up in a way that satisfies the outside world, while leaving little to no space for your own breath, your own authenticity, your own rest. I also sense that for some of you, this pressure stems from the experience of being constantly watched, constantly noticed, where every action and every word feels scrutinized. That weight of needing to maintain a certain image, to continuously live up to these expectations without pause, has grown into a subtle yet persistent source of tension. It drains your energy, eating away at your reserves, and it quietly burdens your spirit in ways that may not even be fully visible to those around you, yet you feel it deeply within. What stands out here is that these expectations and demands do not necessarily arise from everyone around you in a general sense, but rather seem to stem quite strongly from certain specific individuals. These are people who hold a certain influence or authority over you, and because of that, you feel more bound to their expectations, as though you must respond to their needs more than to the collective at large. This creates a sense of obligation that feels heavier and more personal, as if the weight of their gaze presses more firmly upon you than that of the wider group. I sense that this is not so much about you seeking recognition, approval, or affection from everyone indiscriminately, but rather that your longing, your yearning, is directed towards someone specific, a particular connection, or a certain person who carries special significance in your life. The energy suggests that for some of you, this may manifest through belonging to an organization, a company, or being a part of a community. For others, it could be within the bonds of marriage, within your family, or in close, binding relationships. And it is precisely within these ties that you are feeling the constriction, the suffocation, as though you are losing space to breathe, losing the freedom to simply exist as your authentic self. This theme comes through vividly in the reading, a profound sense of being hemmed in by invisible boundaries, restrictions that are not always explicitly named yet exert a powerful influence over your spirit. These unseen ties are shaping your experience in a way that makes the atmosphere feel heavy, as though the more you try to stretch or move freely, the more you become aware of how limited the space truly is. It is not just a situational pressure, but something that is touching your inner world deeply, reminding you of the cost of remaining within these bonds while simultaneously awakening your yearning for freedom, authenticity, and a life where your heart can breathe without restraint. Now, I will move into exploring the deepest burden that weighs on you at this very moment. The cards that appear are the Eight of Swords and the King of Pentacles. With the King of Pentacles, I drew an additional clarifying card, and the King of Swords revealed itself. Yet the draw did not stop there. I pulled once more, and the Emperor emerged. This triad of authority, the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Emperor all carry energy that is powerful, rigid, and imposing, and this is precisely what the spread is pointing toward as the pressure you are now facing and struggling under. These figures may represent a very real person in your life, perhaps a superior at work, a partner or spouse, or even an elder family member who holds significant influence over you. At the same time, there is also the possibility that they symbolize an entire system, a role, or a responsibility that has been passed down over generations, one that you are now carrying as though it were a mission to be preserved, continued, and never abandoned. It is the weight of duty, the sense of legacy, of something that must be upheld regardless of how heavy it feels. In another sense, these cards may also reflect the situation in which you find yourself constantly having to hold up, to support, or to sustain someone else. They suggest that you have been placed in the role of a pillar, someone who cannot let go, who must endure and keep standing strong no matter how much strain is placed upon you. The combined presence of these archetypes creates a powerful image of external authority pressing inward, expectations and responsibilities bearing down on you, and an atmosphere where freedom feels constrained by obligation. It is this intersection of power, duty, and pressure that defines the struggle your spirit is navigating right now, as shown so vividly in the cards before you. The key theme here is the energy of self-sacrifice, where you place the needs, the well-being, and the happiness of others, or of the collective, above your own, and push yourself into the background. The reading reveals that this very dynamic has become a profound concern for you. It feels almost impossible to wholeheartedly pursue your own happiness without being drawn back into the spiral of responsibility and obligation. On some level, you may still hold the belief that your personal joy must blend seamlessly with the joy of those around you, and this makes it difficult for you to separate clearly between what belongs to you and what belongs to everyone. Yet, at the same time, deep within, I sense that you long for a space, a path where you can live solely for your own happiness. I can feel so clearly that you have been placing top priority on ensuring everyone else's happiness, striving to keep the peace, to make sure all are comfortable and content. And this in itself has grown into a considerable emotional burden. It is as though you keep reminding yourself, I must think of everyone, I must make sure all is well before I can think of myself, and this constant self-imposed responsibility is draining your energy. Within this spread, the 3 cards that appear here are all cards of immense power, carrying strong, commanding energies that press down heavily. What I sense is that, because of the presence of someone or of a certain authority-driven pressure, you may have gradually lost faith in yourself, or been placed in a situation that convinces you that you are not allowed, or not capable, of choosing differently. This environment feels like it has locked you into a rigid framework, and it is deeply shaping the way you act and the choices you make. However, when I look at the energy in its current state, I see the signs of release beginning to emerge. Perhaps this is still only a longing, a yearning within your subconscious, but what I feel is that you have already begun to draw it toward yourself, as though you are slowly stepping closer to that state of freedom, or that it is already very near, even making its way toward you at this very moment. And yet, I also sense there are matters still unfinished, words that remain unsaid, explanations that still need to be given, points that must be clarified and conveyed in order for others to truly understand and accept. This very necessity becomes a heavy weight, an invisible pressure upon you, as if you are caught in the tension of simultaneously wanting to let go while still having to face that final step in order to achieve complete liberation. As I look deeper, I can see clearly that you are now in a state of waiting. It may be that you are waiting for a result, for a verdict, for an official decision of some kind, much like waiting to hear whether you have passed or failed, and only then can you step out of your current situation. And it is precisely this waiting that feels like the most exhausting part for you. Inside yourself, everything already seems clear. You already know where you want to go, what you want to choose, which direction you want to move toward. But the necessity of keeping silent, of not being able to express openly, weighs heavily on your heart. Perhaps you cannot yet speak of it to those around you, or perhaps the right moment to share simply has not yet arrived. The Wheel of Fortune appears here, and it reveals that you are holding something in. It may be your emotions, or it may be thoughts and decisions that have already ripened within your heart. And this very act of suppression, of keeping it contained, forms a significant part of the inner struggle you are facing now. You have already made up your mind. You have already reached clarity, yet you cannot voice it at this moment. The spread shows that this is still a time when you must remain silent, when you cannot yet declare openly what it is you want or what it is you have chosen. I also drew an additional oracle card, and its energy only strengthens the sense that you have indeed chosen your next step, but for now you must keep it hidden, and this secrecy has become a source of restlessness, a quiet torment within your soul. Looking at these 2 cards together, I feel with striking clarity that within you there is already a firm decision. You must move forward. You must continue on your path. You are not allowed to turn back, not permitted to dwell in the past, not to let yourself be pulled back by what has already slipped away. The energy here shows that you have closed off an old chapter, that you have resolutely cut ties with what no longer serves you, and now you are directing yourself toward what is new connections, new relationships, new experiences waiting to unfold. And yet this, too, appears in the reading as a profound source of inner conflict. You yearn to open those doors to the unknown. You hunger for the freshness that change will bring, and at the same time, it is precisely this transformation that weighs heavily upon your mind, stirring deep contemplation, filling you with both anticipation and unease. Next, I will look into what is about to become clear to you. The card of the 6 of Cups appears, and when I draw an additional card to clarify, I receive the 5 of Wands, along with the High Priestess and the 8 of Wands. When I observe the 6 of Cups in combination with the High Priestess, I sense an energy that is pure, pristine and delicate, as though there exists within you a sincere affection, a profound emotion, or something deeply cherished and held sacred in the depths of your heart. It evokes the feeling of a memory, an image, or a value that has been etched into your soul, something you treasure dearly and do not wish to lose. And yet, the presence of the Five of Wands immediately calls back to the opposing card I had drawn for you earlier. It reveals here the existence of a conflict, a tension, perhaps a clash with others, but more powerfully, I feel this represents the inner battle within yourself. You are striving to overcome an older version of who you once were, to push beyond the limits and constraints you once accepted or felt bound by. There was a time when you had no choice but to let go of something, forced by circumstance, by environment, or by the conditions around you that made it impossible to continue. But now, the energy has shifted. You stand in a place where you will no longer give up, where you will no longer stop, where you will no longer allow yourself to miss another chance. An inner strength is rising, a force that surges from within, urging you forward with a newfound determination, leaving hesitation behind, compelling you to step boldly into what awaits. I continue by drawing 3 more cards to shed further light, and quite unexpectedly, one card reappears, a sign that the message here is being emphasized with greater force. The King of Wands emerges, and I draw an additional card to support its meaning. The energy of the King of Wands, combined with the entirety of the spread, speaks of a powerful affirmation of your awareness. You know with clarity where you truly belong and where you no longer should remain. You have begun to recognize, with unmistakable certainty, that you do not wish to continue sustaining a particular situation any longer. This may be connected to no longer wanting to follow the authority, direction, or control of someone else, or perhaps simply to no longer carrying out a task, a responsibility, or a role that has already exceeded the boundaries of your endurance. This is the moment when the truth within you rises to the surface, illuminated without confusion or doubt. You are ready to declare that it is enough, ready to step away and walk forward toward a new path. One that resonates more truthfully and harmoniously with who you are and what your spirit longs for. I see with great clarity that at this very moment, your energy is powerfully directed toward living in alignment with the emotions and thoughts you have been carrying deep within for a long time. This is the stage where you choose to follow the profound call of your own heart rather than continue along a path shaped by the expectations or impositions of others. Within the spread, there emerges a clear sign of stopping, a boundary that you yourself are drawing. Enough, from here, I will not continue any longer. The appearance of the King of Wands together with the Queen of Swords forms a sharp, unwavering, and potent energy. They speak of your readiness to be direct, to voice your perspective, to assert your stance without hesitation or evasion. This energy is infused with decisiveness. I will not do this anymore. I will no longer obey. I will not accept anything that pushes me beyond this limit. It is the moment where you define a boundary with absolute clarity, protecting yourself against pressures or demands that no longer serve you, standing firm in the power of your own truth and refusing to let anything override the integrity of your spirit. The appearance of the Nine of Pentacles here opens up another layer of meaning, one that is profoundly positive. It represents self-reliance, independence, and autonomy. What I feel is that for many of you, this is precisely the current of energy approaching, a phase in which you consciously choose to step out of the entanglements imposed by others, to free yourself from environments or circumstances where you felt controlled. You choose the path where you alone decide, where you are free to shape and design your own life. And when this energy is combined with the other cards in the spread, I see an even stronger message emerging. You are moving closer to a position, a level of influence where your name, your presence, and your talent will be recognized, perhaps even celebrated, allowing you to affirm yourself as a professional, as someone exceptional in your own field. This is not only spiritual independence, but also a firm belief that I can live well, I can work successfully, I can grow powerfully relying solely on my own strength, without the need to depend on anyone. Beyond that, the energy of the spread also reveals another possibility. For some of you, alongside the pursuit of independence, you carry within yourself a role of protection, the instinct to safeguard someone or something you truly cherish. This could be a loved one, a relationship, or even a value or an ideal that you have always held sacred. And this time, you will protect it not through reliance on others, but through your own strength and your unwavering will. You know deep within that you are capable, that you possess all that is needed to guard, nurture, and preserve what matters most to you, without needing backing, without requiring any external support as a condition for your resolve. The Hermit appears at the end of the spread as a reminder of the inner journey you have walked, the long periods of reflection, of self-questioning, of restless nights spent searching for the answer. This card shows that the matters you once hesitated over, the choices you once set aside, the uncertainties that lingered unresolved, are now arriving at the point of clarity. This is the moment where you will no longer waver, where you step forward with intention and give yourself a definitive answer. And so, I draw another tarot card to shine a deeper light upon the message the Hermit wishes to bring you. What emerges clearly to me is that with the appearance of the Magician, a vivid image unfolds, one of you stepping out into a world far greater and more expansive than the one you knew before. In the past, it is as though you had drawn inward, living within a smaller, confined space, not necessarily because that was what you desired, but because circumstances or limitations pressed you into such a narrow frame. Yet now, the energy shifts powerfully, and it is as though a great door swings open, allowing you to move from that small, contained corner out into the vast sky, where you can breathe freely, explore new horizons, and begin a journey entirely transformed. This image feels like the very moment of embarking upon a new chapter in a much larger world, where everything holds potential, where the road ahead offers more joy, more excitement, and greater promise than staying bound to what has already been. What matters most is that in this journey, you are no longer a bystander. You become the one who takes initiative, the protagonist of your own story, the one at the helm steering the course of your life with intention, clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose. However, there is one detail I want to bring into sharper focus, so I draw another card, and the Eight of Pentacles reveals itself. Instantly, this brings me back to the energy that appeared at the very beginning of the reading. You have already gathered all the preparation you need. Every skill, every piece of knowledge, every experience, and even the resolve within your spirit, all of it is ready for you to begin crafting and building what you truly desire. This is not a rash or impulsive step, but the natural result of a long process of practice, refinement, and accumulation. You have thought of this before, you have wanted this for a long time, and now you find yourself at the very point where every condition aligns to allow you to bring it into being. And yet, there is another important element I see here. Something still needs to be spoken. Something still needs to be expressed clearly to someone. It could be the thoughts you have suppressed, the words you have endured in silence for too long, or the feelings you have never once given voice to. Earlier in the reading, when we looked into your struggles, I saw that you had already made the decision. I will speak. I will express. I will no longer keep it locked inside. And here again, that energy rises to the surface, reaffirming that the moment to give voice to what has been hidden is drawing very near. What is fascinating here is that I can sense you will not be walking this step alone. There is a current of support, of backing energy flowing toward you. It may come from a person, or perhaps from an unexpected situation or opportunity. Someone will say to you, "You are right to do this. The path you are choosing is the right one." That affirmation will feel like a gentle but steady wind at your back, like a reassuring hand on your shoulder, encouraging you forward without doubt. And it is this very support that will give you greater steadiness, the courage to move ahead, and the confidence to trust fully that your choice is indeed the right one. When I look at this spread as a whole, I feel with unmistakable clarity that you absolutely can do this, that you have all the capacity within you, and that this is not merely a prediction but a firm confirmation. The energy here speaks clearly. You will succeed, without question. The appearance of these two cards together shows that, even within your subconscious, you already believe in this truth. You already know that you can step onto this new path with your own strength guiding you forward. Continuing to draw 3 more cards from the tarot, I see a combination of immense power: the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. The image of the Queen of Wands immediately brings me back to the Nine of Pentacles that appeared earlier. Both resonate with the same profound message of self-reliance, independence, unshakable will, and the ability to build a life entirely of your own making. This is the energy of someone who knows their worth with absolute certainty, who understands clearly what they want, and who is ready to act decisively to achieve it without leaning on or depending upon anyone else. The Eight of Cups here carries the meaning that the opportunity to elevate yourself, to step onto a higher rung of the ladder, is drawing near. It encourages you to leave behind what has already run its course, what has fulfilled its mission, and to move toward a fresh journey filled with richer potential. Because, truthfully, in your current environment, the things you can do, the lessons you need to learn, or the responsibilities you've been required to shoulder, all of that has already been completed. You've reached the limit of what you can extract or gain here, and continuing to invest your energy into this environment will only leave you feeling drained, as though your personal life force is being consumed without any replenishment. The presence of the Ten of Wands makes this message even clearer. You have been carrying burdens for far too long, shouldering too many responsibilities, and now it is time to liberate yourself from unnecessary pressure. Before this, the Hermit also appeared in this spread, serving as a reminder that you have already gone through the phase of introspection, contemplation, and learning. Now is the moment to transform, to step forward into a new beginning with a steadier spirit and a sharper clarity of mind. I sense that many of you who chose this pile are standing right at the threshold of transition, yet even so, not everyone can instantly cut ties with what has long been entwined with their lives. It may be because of responsibilities, entanglements, or simply because the right timing has not yet presented itself. However, what this reading affirms with undeniable clarity is this: your intuition and your inner feelings are absolutely correct. You no longer need to cling to things that hold no value for you. The obligations you once thought you had to carry, you can now give yourself permission to set them down. You are moving into a stage of life where freedom, lightness, and confidence will take center stage, becoming the foundation upon which your future self will stand. I sense that in the past, you may have carried within yourself a profound sense of responsibility or obligation, as though you were compelled to take on this role, as though without you nothing could move forward, or that it had to be you who bore the weight of it all. This very feeling might have led you time and again to place yourself in situations of greater pressure and heaviness than was truly necessary. Yet now, the energy unfolding before you is revealing a clear truth. You are entirely free to release that burden, to lay down those responsibilities that were never truly yours to begin with. Not everything requires your presence. Not every matter needs to be carried on your shoulders. You are allowed to let it go, to grant yourself more freedom, and this realization arrives as a vital awakening, a liberation of the spirit. I drew an additional card to expand on the Queen of Wands, and what appeared was the Five of Wands. When placed side by side, the connection between them immediately resonates with the earlier cards, those that had already spoken of oppositions, of conflicts, of struggles, both external and internal. The Five of Wands here does not merely speak of competition. It carries a deeper message about rising above challenges, about attaining victory in a situation where previously you may have felt pressured or forced into a position where you had to prove yourself. And this time, that victory leans in your favor, affirming your strength, your resilience, and your rightful triumph. Throughout this entire journey, I recall that in previous readings you have repeatedly received cards infused with the powerful masculine energies of authority, such as the King of Wands, the King of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and even the Emperor. Now, with the Five of Wands appearing alongside the Queen of Wands, I sense with striking clarity that you are not only standing face to face with those commanding forces, but you are rising above them, even surpassing them. This can symbolize a moment where you assert your own capabilities, where you radiate undeniable confidence and leadership qualities, or where you prove yourself in front of those who once placed heavy demands, set rigid standards, or presented you with daunting challenges. If, at this present moment, you find yourself in the midst of a situation marked by competition, rivalry, or the need to affirm your rightful place, and this does not only pertain to matters of love, but can apply to any sphere of your life, then the spread is a resounding confirmation that victory is leaning toward you. The energy of the Queen of Wands paints an unmistakable image. You stand at the highest position. You are the one leading, drawing attention, receiving respect, and captivating every gaze. This is the moment when the spotlight shines directly upon you, placing you center stage, where all around you can finally see and acknowledge your true worth and your genuine abilities. And as I look deeper into this energy, I can sense another layer of meaning emerging. To reach this moment of radiance, you have already endured a long period of training, accumulation, and silent perseverance. It may have been a time spent in the shadows, a phase where you worked tirelessly, shouldered countless challenges that few truly noticed or acknowledged. It could also have been a journey marked by hardship, where you had to be patient, to wait, and to pour all of your strength into overcoming obstacles that seemed insurmountable. Yet now, that chapter has finally come to a close. The long path of waiting, of preparing, of building your foundation in silence has reached its conclusion, and you are stepping into a wholly new stage, one in which you are not only liberated from the weight of old responsibilities, but also asserting your rightful place with a complete and undeniable victory. I see very clearly that the era of quiet accumulation, of rigorous training and relentless effort, of those years when you had to lay groundwork and construct everything from the ground up, has come to its natural end. The card signals a profound truth. The long road of preparation is finished, and you are now on the verge of entering a new chapter, a time when you can finally begin to reap the rewards of all that you have invested, all that you have endured, and all that you have steadfastly built for yourself. When I drew further cards from the Oracle deck, the Hermit appeared first. This is such a beautiful message, a confirmation that every moment of silence, every stretch of time you spent in contemplation, in endurance, in perseverance, was never meaningless. Alongside it, the cards of patience and courage revealed themselves. Just by looking at these three together, I can feel the entirety of what you have endured, the truly difficult times, the heavy trials, moments of deep pain, and above all, those long days and nights of bearing and withstanding. You did not give up. You persisted through phases that seemed impossible to overcome. And now, with the energy of courage shining through, it is clear that the moment for you to step out of that darkness has arrived. You are about to overcome fear, to rise above anxiety and insecurity, and to step forward on a path illuminated before you, as though the universe itself is guiding you, pointing the way, showing you where you are meant to go. I feel profoundly that all of your efforts, your persistence, and your unwavering strength will return to you in the form of abundance, not only in material wealth, but in the satisfaction of spirit, in recognition from others, and in the deep pride you will hold for yourself. Throughout this journey, the imagery of training, of apprenticeship, of devoted practice comes forth vividly. It is as though you have been through a long period of refining your craft, of honing your skills and abilities, and now, with the radiant energy of the Queen of Wands, the message is undeniable. You are ready to present, ready to shine, ready to reveal to the world all that you have accumulated in silence, and to finally step fully into your power. I know that stepping out into the light is never an easy task. It requires a tremendous amount of courage. Deep within, you may still carry fears, the fear of being judged, the fear of failure, the fear of not receiving the recognition you long for. Yet the spread reveals that once you cross that inner barrier, what awaits on the other side is precisely what you have been seeking, the Nine of Pentacles and the energy of the Queen of Wands. These are the images of success, of self-mastery, of being admired and respected. They speak of joy fulfilled, of deep satisfaction, and of that luminous moment when you truly shine, when you stand acknowledged by all, as if the universe itself is whispering to you, "You are wonderful, you have done it." This entire journey closes like a perfect circle, from patience, discipline, and hardship to the moment of daring to rise, daring to reveal yourself, and then receiving the rewards you so deeply deserve. And this is the final message the spread offers you, that a new chapter, radiant with light and rich with accomplishment, is awaiting your step forward. I now bring the reading for those of you who chose Pile 2 to a close. If in today's messages there was something that truly touched your heart, I invite you to leave a comment or even just a small symbol so that I may know it has genuinely resonated with you. I always cherish every single share, and I look forward with warmth and anticipation to hearing your thoughts and reflections. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end of this reading. I look forward to meeting you again in the next spreads yet to come. Hello to those of you who have chosen Pile 3. Thank you for your patience, and now I will begin the reading dedicated to those who selected Pile number 3. May this spread bring you healing, fresh realizations, and moments filled with love and tenderness. With the theme being what you are about to recognize clearly, let us first look into your current state. The cards that have appeared here are the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. The very first impression I feel is a sense of wistfulness, of lingering attachment to something that weighs on your mind. For example, you may be in a situation bound by a time frame, such as a seasonal work contract, or a job that is only meant to last for a certain period. This is just one illustration to help you picture it more clearly, but the energy speaks of how deeply you do not want to leave, how reluctant you are to let go, and yet because the time has come, you are compelled to step away. Another possibility is that you have decided to resign from your current position in order to move into a new environment, even while your heart still feels reluctant, still tethered to what you are leaving behind. All of this gives me the sense of a gentle sadness, a quiet melancholy threading through you. In your present environment, I feel strongly that you have learned a great deal, gathering experiences of real value. The relationships you have built here may have offered you warmth, kindness, and even genuine appreciation. This is reflected through the Ace of Cups, which brings forward the imagery of emotional depth, of bonds that carry meaning and care. And yet, the appearance of the Eight of Cups points unmistakably to the energy of departure, of having to release despite the lingering feelings. On the card itself, we see the image of a woman glancing back toward the castle she leaves behind, her gaze still heavy with attachment. It is the look of someone who does not truly want to part ways, but who knows that she must. The moment has come, and she understands that she needs to move forward, that her path lies ahead. In addition, this imagery also brings to mind the experience of long-distance love. Perhaps you and that person had the chance to meet, to savor precious moments together, but then the inevitable moment of parting arrived. The sadness, the sense of incompleteness, combined with the limitations of time or rules already set in place, leaves you feeling weighed down. I can sense very clearly here the presence of time and boundaries, those constraints that prevent this encounter or this experience from lasting as long as you had wished. Now, I will draw 3 more cards to look deeper into this story. And quite remarkably, another Wheel of Fortune has appeared. This is a profoundly powerful sign. When a card that has already shown itself in the reading comes forth again, it is the universe's way of emphasizing its message, pressing it into your awareness with undeniable force. It reveals that you are standing in a truly significant period, a moment where change is inevitable, a turning point that cannot be avoided. It feels as though an unseen force is urging you, gently but firmly pushing you forward, compelling you to move, to shift, to transform. This repetition is not random at all. It is a crystal clear message that destiny itself is intervening, actively shaping a new direction for you. I sense that you are standing in a very unique state, a space where deep in your heart you truly do not wish to leave. You do not want to separate yourself from the environment you are in. You do not want to step out of the safety of your familiar comfort zone. And yet, circumstances are placing you in a position where change is no longer optional, where you are compelled to move away, even though your inner self is still heavy with attachment and longing. The Ace of Swords emerges here as a crystal clear message, showing that even if you resist the ending, there is still something that demands you to release, to let go, and to make a firm, decisive choice. This gives me the impression that in today's reading, many of you are caught in precisely this situation, a turning point that you are not entirely ready for, but one that you must nonetheless walk through. I also drew additional oracle cards, and when I look at these two, the message shines with absolute clarity. You may wish to remain where you are, but a new door is opening, and you are required to step into it. A new beginning is approaching, and it cannot be delayed. I can feel that for some of you, this may manifest as a change of career, moving on to a new company. This change carries with it both excitement and anxiety, fears about whether you will be able to adapt, whether you will be able to build meaningful connections in this new place, and whether you will find within yourself the courage to embrace it. For you, the old environment feels safe, familiar, rich with memories and attachment, which is why the very thought of leaving weighs so heavily upon your heart. For others among you, this may take the form of being transferred to a different department or being asked to take up a new role or position within the organization, even though it is not something you yourself actively sought. All of these circumstances converge on the same truth. You are at a moment where you must face and accept the new, even while your heart is still tangled with reluctance and with ties that are difficult to release. As I turn to examine the energy surrounding you, the 2 cards that appear are Temperance and the Knight of Pentacles. This combination suggests that those around you, colleagues, family members, friends, are wishing for you to remain, to continue your presence in the current environment. The energy radiating from these cards conveys a sense that people are hoping you will still be here, that you will maintain the rhythm of life and work as it has been, because your presence brings stability, dependability, and a reassuring sense of balance. Yet, the reality of circumstances seems to be compelling you toward change, whether for professional reasons, family matters, or even the necessity of relocating your home. Looking deeper into the energy of those around you, I do not sense a group of individuals with volatile or rebellious personalities. On the contrary, they appear as people who are steady, reliable, principled, and mature. This is precisely why your departure may leave them feeling a sense of loss, because you resonate with the same frequency, that of steadfastness, seriousness, and responsibility. This makes the impending shift not only a personal challenge for you, but also something that will leave an imprint on the environment and the relationships that surround you. To delve further into this dynamic, 3 more cards emerge: the Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Page of Swords. Together, they paint the image of relationships between you and those around you being maintained at a measured distance, marked by a delicate yet distinct boundary. Both sides seem to have established, or are carefully maintaining, a connection in which no one intrudes too deeply into the private world of the other. Instead, there is mutual respect, a balance preserved with intention, where the bond is neither overly close nor detached. It is a harmony held with awareness, like an invisible line that both parties understand, honor, and protect. With the Knight of Swords, I drew an additional card and received the Nine of Pentacles. Looking at this combination, I sense that you may have once been the guiding figure, the source of inspiration, or the solid foundation for those around you. These are not people who actively sought to compete for position or impose their will, but rather individuals who seemed content to follow your lead, placing their trust in the direction you created. The energy flowing from these cards gives me the impression that within that environment, or within that circle of relationships, you were the one who provided orientation, who upheld order and stability, and who also embodied a model for others to look up to and emulate. The Hanged Man and the Page of Swords here feel as though they are reflecting aspects of yourself. This image portrays someone who is recognized as capable of observation, contemplation, and patience before taking action, yet when necessary, still able to speak with clarity, with sharpness, with directness of thought and expression. As for those around you, I still feel they are individuals of a calm nature, not the kind to be loud or excessively animated. Their energy is steady, subdued, and balanced, without excess turbulence or disruption. I also drew an additional oracle card, and the message that emerges carries with it the sense that a separation of some kind has already taken place. Not necessarily a forced departure, but rather as if you and they have naturally drifted apart, no longer standing side by side as before. For many of you, this could signify having recently gone through a breakup, or having said goodbye to people with whom you once shared a long and significant bond. And perhaps it is precisely because of this parting that the surrounding energy now feels quieter, more subdued. It is not that they have always been silent by nature, but rather that the familiarity, the companionship, the shared rhythm built over a long period of time created a living pulse, a sense of stability. And when you left, or when distance formed between you, everything became quieter, as though the movement, the familiar voices, the subtle pulse that once sustained the environment has faded, leaving behind a stillness where there was once continuity and presence. Because there has been such a long period of closeness, you and those around you understand one another deeply, and it is precisely because of this mutual understanding that there has never been the sense of noise, chaos, or confusion. On the contrary, the energy here is one of stillness and calm in the most positive sense, like a relationship that has been nurtured and sustained over time, where both sides have found balance, harmony, and peace in each other's presence. You and they together built such a steady state, but now I can sense that a distance has arisen between you. It may be that you have moved away from them, or that for some reason you have been forced to separate. It may also be that in this period you and they no longer communicate as often, or that maintaining connection has become more difficult than before. This leaves you with a sense of emptiness and loss, and I also see that on their side, too, there is a presence of regret and longing. This is a bond where both parties are deeply feeling the absence of one another. Now, let us turn to what is weighing on your heart. What is troubling you at this moment? The primary card that has appeared is the Queen of Pentacles, and I drew an additional card to clarify the message. The spread that emerges is the Two of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles. Looking at this combination, the very first thing I feel is that you are carrying within you a deep concern about the absence of someone you can absolutely trust, someone in whom you can feel safe to lean upon. The Two of Cups usually speaks of profound connection and mutual understanding, yet here the energy carries with it a trace of tension, as though you are unable to fully express all that you wish to say, unable to completely open your true thoughts to anyone around you. I see you holding yourself back, weighing your words, being cautious in your communication, and this, in turn, has become one of the very pressures that burdens you. The appearance of the Ten of Swords reveals that somewhere within your current environment, whether it is the place you have just chosen, or perhaps a new setting you are stepping into, there exists a sense of discord, of something that does not truly resonate or align with your energy. From this, I can clearly feel your yearning to remain with the place, with the person, with the relationship or the environment where you feel safe, where you feel familiar and anchored. The Queen of Pentacles, paired with the Seven of Pentacles at the end of the spread, emphasizes yet another message. You feel a lack. And this lack is not only about material things or external support, but also a lack of warmth, of nurturing, of the sense of fullness and wholeness both emotionally and spiritually. All of these together weave into an emptiness, a hollow space that you have yet to find a way to fill. I sense with profound clarity that what rises here is a feeling of deficiency, a quiet void, as though something remains unfinished, incomplete, not yet whole. What is striking is that this sensation of lack is expressed through the suit of pentacles, which points strongly toward matters of the material world, finances, stability, or the tangible aspects of life that ground you in the physical realm. This is one of the very worries, one of the heavy weights pressing upon you in the present moment. And to gain deeper understanding, I have moved further into the layers of analysis. The next card that appears is the Nine of Swords, combined with the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. When the Nine of Swords shows up together with the Ten of Swords as it does in the spread, I feel very clearly that there is a fear or a negative scenario that you absolutely do not wish for, and yet it is slowly manifesting. It is as if you have thought to yourself, I don't want to end up in this situation, I don't want to be chosen for that, and yet somehow, in one way or another, it still happens, or you are placed in a position or circumstance that you truly never desired. For some of you, this may only serve as an illustration rather than being an exact fit, but the overall energy still speaks about being pulled into a situation or a decision that was never your choice in the first place. Looking deeper into these three cards together, I also sense a message of unease, of being trapped in a state of helplessness. You may be experiencing restless nights, troubled dreams that weigh heavily on your spirit, or even sudden awakenings in the middle of the night, shaken and unsettled. This is the energy of fatigue, of constant anxiety, and it disrupts the balance of your daily life. For some of you, the cause may even lie in your current living environment, which does not truly feel comfortable or properly arranged. It may relate to conditions of poor rest, shallow sleep, or the feeling of never being able to truly recharge and restore your energy. The repeated appearance of the Four of Pentacles here, echoing what I had previously interpreted regarding the surrounding circumstances, emphasizes a significant theme tied to holding on, to closure, or to being restricted. To deepen the message, I pulled an additional card, and it was the Page of Cups. The energy of this card makes it very clear to me that even though deep within you there is a desire to do something, to pursue something that stirs your heart, at this moment you are still in a position where you must endure, where you are compelled to hold yourself back. There is a binding force present, something that restrains you, preventing you from choosing what truly brings you joy or from following the voice of your heart right now. I also drew 2 oracle cards to illuminate this further, and the message that emerged is strikingly clear. You are in a situation where you cannot fully express your true self, where you cannot voice everything you are thinking, and where there are even things you are forced to keep hidden. The energy radiating from these cards shows that you are facing limitations, circumstances already set in place, and you are being called to find ways to move beyond them. Alongside this, the presence of fear comes through strongly: fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of whether you truly have the strength to break through these barriers. And all of these fears together weave into a heavy, invisible weight pressing down upon your mind and emotions, enveloping you in an atmosphere of silent yet immense pressure. In the part that speaks of inner struggles, I see the combination of the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, and the 7 of Cups, this time clearly revealing the energy of a deep, profound fear, a sense of unease that stems from not knowing, from being unable to see, or from not fully grasping what lies ahead. This may be a fear of stepping into uncharted territory, an anxiety over things that remain vague and unclear, or a state of confusion brought on by the inability to determine the next direction. For some of you, this is also a sign that you have, in some way, lost sight of the path or the goal you once pursued, feeling as though the road ahead is shrouded in a fog that prevents you from seeing clearly. And even more prominently, the energy of this spread continues to emphasize what has surfaced many times before: the difficulty of blending in, of adapting to a new environment, to a place where you have yet to find complete connection or belonging. Next, I turn to what you will soon begin to recognize with clarity. At the center lies the 6 of Pentacles, and I drew an additional card to further illuminate its message. At the same time, I also drew another card to clarify the star. Together, the result brings forth a deeply encouraging message. The efforts you have poured in will begin to bear fruit, and you will discover opportunities to blossom right where you are. This energy does not point toward you having to abandon your current environment or say farewell in search of an entirely new path. On the contrary, it reveals that even though at first there may have been discord, misalignment, or a feeling of alienation, you are capable of gradually finding a way to rise above and shine brilliantly within those very circumstances. The appearance of the Queen of Wands here further affirms this message. You will find within yourself the strength to confidently express who you are, to stand tall and grow right within the environment you are currently in. These two cards together convey the feeling of release in its most positive sense, no longer being haunted by fears or comparisons, but instead embracing acceptance and adaptability, allowing yourself to live wholeheartedly and dedicate yourself fully to the present moment. From there, everything begins to find balance. Relationships gradually shift into fairness and reciprocity, and the flow of communication and understanding between you and those around you becomes more harmonious, more open, and more genuine. This is a very clear sign that not only can you stand firm in the place where you are now, but you can also truly blossom, attaining recognition, respect, and profound connection from those who surround you. The Six of Cups here brings with it the feeling of people who genuinely understand you, people who could be called kindred spirits in the deepest sense of the word. Even if, at this present moment, you may feel as though there is no one close enough to listen, no one near enough to truly see the person you are within, the cards reveal that there are still those who, whether at a distance or no longer present as they once were, continue to watch over you, to care, to understand, and acknowledge you. That bond has never been severed. I sense that this connection still exists, quietly enduring, like an underground current flowing steadily, and all it requires is for you to pause, to listen inwardly, and you will feel its presence once again. The energy here does not suggest that you will suddenly leave everything behind to embark on an entirely new path. On the contrary, I see that you also recognize how difficult, and even how unsuitable, it would be to abandon things and start over at this particular moment. The issue is not about turning in a different direction immediately, but rather about finding the way to exist, to adapt, and to continue moving forward within the very environment and circumstances that have already undergone many changes. Changes that you cannot reverse. And here, an important message emerges. Waiting ahead of you is a significant success, a well-deserved accomplishment. The simultaneous presence of the star and the Queen of Wands tells me that even though on the surface it may seem as though everything is standing still, in truth you are steadily advancing step by step toward your goal. This path is drawing you closer to that which you have been nurturing, to that which you once placed your whole heart upon in prayer and in longing. This is the stage where you are beginning to touch the steps that will soon carry you to the very place you have always desired to reach. When I drew further clarifying cards, the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Wands revealed themselves. The energy here suggests that this may very well be the most challenging stage you are going through right now. And as I continued to expand the spread, the cards that appeared were the Ten of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, the Five of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. Together they form a very vivid picture. At present, you are facing waves of trials, with pressures and feelings of loss pressing down on you, even a sense of doubt about the people and circumstances around you. Yet at the very same time, I also perceive a powerful message. Just ahead, after these wearying days, awaits a great reward meant for you. The Ten of Pentacles appearing alongside the star, and the Queen of Wands comes through as a resounding affirmation. You are not forgotten. There are people who always keep you in their thoughts, who remember you, who hold you within their hearts. They do not merely care, they worry for you. They wish for you to remain strong and safe. No matter how lonely you may feel, their hearts silently turn toward you, sending you encouragement, sending you love, even if these currents of devotion are not visible to your eyes. This brings me back to what I mentioned earlier when looking into the circumstances surrounding you, that there have been people who have stood by your side for many years, people who have been close, who have journeyed alongside you through life. They are not merely acquaintances, but profound relationships, bonds that have been nurtured and strengthened over time. And they continue to think of you. They continue to hold on to this connection with you. The Six of Cups, which appeared before, already revealed this so clearly. They carry within their hearts the desire to do something for you, to give you a gift, to offer you some form of help, or to extend support in a way that touches your life. And at this moment, you will begin to recognize this more clearly, to understand the depth of their intentions toward you, and to feel more profoundly the affection and goodwill that flows from them. When this realization dawns on you, its impact will be immense. You will feel that you are not alone, that there are hands ready to lift you, that there are hearts ready to walk beside you. From this awareness, a new current of vitality will be awakened, replenishing your strength and giving you the inspiration and drive to keep moving forward. I see very vividly the image of people who long to shield you, to protect you, to see you standing strong and moving ahead. And in truth, you are already being nourished and supported by this very power, even if in the past you may not have fully realized it. Once you come to recognize it, it will become the guiding force that leads you onward, a powerful engine that propels you through challenges and sustains you on your journey. The difficult period you are enduring now will also pass. As I have shared, this may indeed be the heaviest, most trying stage for you, but the Ten of Pentacles has appeared as a resounding affirmation that you are surrounded by a strong, enduring network of connection, a bond that carries profound meaning. This card also reflects the deep trust and faith that those around you hold in you. They are certain that you can succeed. They believe in your ability to overcome every obstacle. The spread also reveals the image of you after having overcome these trials, after having stepped through all 4 of those heavy cards. It is the image of you holding your dream in your hands, turning what you once longed for into reality and shining brilliantly in the radiant light of success and fulfillment. The energy here shows that you will regain a powerful sense of confidence, a confidence that, in this present moment, you may feel gravely lacking. And yet it will return, stronger than ever before. To shed more light on the path ahead, I continued to draw 3 additional cards. The ones that appeared were the 7 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, the Chariot as a clarifier, and for the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands. First and foremost, I see a message that is very clear. You are not alone. You do not have to carry the weight of everything on your shoulders, nor do you need to walk this entire journey by yourself. There will be people who accompany you, who stand beside you, who support you with sincerity and strength. There will be connections that bring you reinforcement, people who are not only willing to walk alongside you, but who genuinely wish to uplift and protect you. Looking into this energy, I see clearly that this thread of connection is gradually revealing itself, and you will come to recognize and deeply understand their presence in your life. From the 7 of Wands, I also receive another message. You are not only keeping pace, but you have the potential to rise above and break through. Even though at present you may feel as if you are still in the early stages, moving slowly, not yet accelerating at full speed, there is no reason to rush or to worry. You are holding in your hands the opportunity to become the one who reaches the destination faster than anyone else. The 7 of Wands is also the card of advantage, revealing that the gap between you and those around you will soon widen, and you will step into a period where favorable circumstances give you the upper hand. This may be connected to the fact that in your current situation, the external factors or the environment itself provide you with a distinct advantage, creating the conditions for you to move forward with greater speed and strength. As I shared earlier, it is precisely because of the presence of companions, of those willing to lend their support, that your momentum and effectiveness will be greatly enhanced. In some cases, thanks to this help, your work or your goals will not only progress more quickly, but will also be completed in a way that feels more whole and complete. For some of you, this can also signify that you will have the chance to return to and continue with a plan, a project, or a path that you once believed you had to abandon. The Chariot together with the Knight of Wands here speaks of an eruption of energy and momentum. This is the stage where you will feel a powerful propulsion both from within and from external forces, a surge of motivation that drives you forward with great force. If in the past you ever thought that you would have to abandon something, that you would be forced to stop midway, the message revealed here tells you otherwise, that reality will shift. You will no longer need to give up. You have within you the ability to reach the destination, to complete what you once began, and to bring forth a tangible, steady, and whole achievement, the fully formed embodiment of what you have been nurturing and working tirelessly to build all this time. And now comes the appearance of the court cards, all belonging to the suit of Wands, including the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Their combination delivers a powerful message of a major step forward, a significant development, or a decisive push that sets everything into clearer motion. At the same time, both of these cards are strongly tied to the archetype of the messenger, the one who delivers news, who brings something of value to you. As I tune into the energy here, I sense very clearly that soon help will come your way, and this assistance may not emerge from the new relationships within your current environment, but rather from people you have met before. From connections once forged and still enduring, bonds that have remained resilient and steadfast over the passage of time. They will come to you, carrying something positive with them. The messenger symbolism here suggests that it may be glad tidings, a message infused with uplifting energy, or perhaps a practical option, a helpful solution that assists you in untangling difficulties. Within what they bring, there could also be an important clue, a key piece connected to what you have been wondering about or seeking. And because of that, as I mentioned earlier, you will be infused with renewed energy, with vitality and drive that encourages you to keep striving, to remind yourself that you can continue moving forward, and to feel a sense of excitement about the path that lies ahead. The appearance of these people also brings you a deeper realization that you have been, and still are, supported, cherished, and held in the hearts of others. You will come to understand that such affection has never vanished, that there are hearts which remain by your side even if they are not present in your daily life. And when this awareness settles within you, it will feel as though an immense reservoir of spiritual strength has been poured into you, uplifting and empowering you in a way that changes everything. Next, I drew another oracle card, and what came forth was one that radiates an immensely warm and tender energy. This card signals that you will be embraced by a profound love, a current of emotion that is both sincere and powerful. This love is not confined solely to the realm of romance. It may manifest as familial love, as friendship, or as any form of connection that carries within it genuine care and heartfelt affection. The energy surrounding it shows that you are entering a phase where the strength that comes from human bonds, the support, the love, the companionship of others, will find its way to you. For this is precisely the time when you need it most, and the universe is aligning itself so that these benevolent forces may flow into your life. I sense very clearly that at this moment, you may be weighed down by an oppressive loneliness, or perhaps caught in a situation where you truly need assistance. And because of this, the message the cards bring forth is unmistakable. In this state, a source of support will reach out to you, and it will not be limited to mere help or aid. Instead, it will come in the form of a deep, soul-stirring affection, a love so genuine that you will directly feel its warmth and embrace. This occurrence will soon reveal itself to you in no uncertain terms, making you realize that there is someone who is offering you a heart overflowing with sincerity, tenderness, and love. This is a kind of love that carries no ulterior motives, no conditions, but is a pure gift bestowed from the very depths of that person's heart. Alongside this, the miracle card has also appeared in this spread. Its message is that no matter how pessimistic you may feel right now, no matter how much you see your life painted in shades of gray and shadow, a miracle will still arrive. It carries the reminder that the path you have chosen and the way you have steadfastly walked it are indeed the right ones, that you were never required to change it, never required to abandon it. Even in situations where you once thought, this will never happen again, or when you had nearly surrendered and let go, the miracle can still manifest. It may come as a moment where you are given the chance to witness something you thought you would never see again, or as the reunion with someone you had believed you would never cross paths with once more. And most importantly, this is not a fleeting occurrence, not something momentary and passing, but a return that carries with it a sense of permanence and lasting endurance. The final card delivers to you a message of great strength. You are not alone. All around you there are countless sources of support, many presences that are silently protecting and lifting you up every single day. And I also sense within you something deeply unyielding, a principle, a belief, or a value that you refuse to surrender. Perhaps it has been tested many times, perhaps circumstances or people have tried to shake it, yet you have held it firm, never allowing it to falter. The time that lies ahead will make it unmistakably clear to you that holding fast to this has been the right choice, or you will step into a phase where you feel profound fulfillment because you have safeguarded it with unwavering strength. What is coming your way is the opportunity to build truly wonderful relationships, connections that are deep, enduring, and full of meaning. As this flow begins to open, you will start to see those around you becoming more reliable, stronger sources of support, people who are willing to lift you up, to encourage you, and to stand beside you. This is also the moment when things you once thought you had to abandon will be illuminated once again, rekindled by a touch of magic. And with that, I will bring the reading for those of you drawn to pile 3 to a close. If in today's reading you felt as though there was a small spark of light, something that offered clarity, or perhaps soothed the worries in your heart even just a little, then I am truly glad for that. My hope is that you have found at least one suggestion, one sign, or one message that has allowed your mind to feel lighter. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end of this reading. I wish for you to always shine brightly, to be filled with happiness and peace. Until we meet again in the next readings.